Okay, so we have started our pattern. We have it all set and ready. We've chosen our glass, so excited. And now we're at the stage where we start cutting and fitting the glass into the pattern. We have all of the things that we need. This is a cutting grid, and it looks like a waffle. And the reason why it looks like a waffle is because any of the stray pieces of glass fall into these channels. Because when you cut glass, it is so sensitive to any bumps that if you are going to run your glass cutter and there's anything underneath your glass, it'll just crack the glass and then you have to start over. And sometimes when you're dealing with antique glass, that's a death sentence, because then you have to rethink your whole piece. So this is where we get into the dangerous part. And this is the part that really, really excites me, because glass is dangerous. And that's why we wear our safety glasses. We wear an apron because you can get little shards of glass that come back at you. And once we get going with the lead, of course, we're going to also be wearing gloves as well. So we're at the point now where we're going to cut our glass to fit the pattern. And unfortunately, after I counted my pieces, I have 16 border pieces, which evenly are divided by 4. And although I really love that purple glass, sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. And we decided to not go with the purple. So we're going to be using the red, amber, deep teal, and lime green. So there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can either just measure it and cut by the measurement, or you can trace the line and cut from the line. So since we chose a transparent glass, we can see the line right underneath, and all I have to do is take my ruler, line it up, give myself a little bit of space over here, and draw a Sharpie line. I want a nice clean edge. So I'm going to take my handy dandy glass cutter. There's a couple of different styles of glass cutters, and all of the modern ones actually have a tiny diamond tipped wheel in here. This is a pen or pencil type, and this is a gun type or a handle type. It depends on how you're comfortable. Some people like using it like this and pulling down, and some people prefer the grip of this and pulling down. You also need glass cutting oil, which you have in a well, but you want to make sure that this has a lot of oil on it so that it is a smooth swipe. This is one of the best sounds in the world, is the sound of a nice smooth cut of glass. Line it up, take your glass cutter, press down firmly, and pull. Love it. With this type of a cut, I am going to want a running plier, and what this one does is takes the edge. I'm going to take this side because it's bigger. Put this on the edge. And this has a line where, hear that pop? I love that pop. This came off in one fell swoop. It's a nice clean edge, so then I can cut my pieces without having to worry about grinding. And the amount of waste in this one is very minimal. This pattern is very easy because all of the end pieces are the same size. So what I'm able to do is just take a line of glass and use it for many different pieces. Right at the edge. So now I'm done cutting this, and there's a lot left over because I was careful in making sure that I didn't waste a lot. So now somebody else can take and use this glass, and there's a nice big surface area to choose from. A different way, instead of the running pliers to break glass apart, is to do it by hand. This is nice and easy, but the technique for cutting glass by hand is curl both fingers underneath, take your thumbs on either side of the run and pull up and apart. And it should come apart in a nice easy line. But it also depends on the texture and the thickness and the age of the glass. If it's a very machined piece of glass, a lot of times it will cut nice and evenly and smoothly, but there are antique glasses where it has a lot of waves and textures and different colors in it to where it's not so easy to break. But you will definitely find that the more that you do this. Another tool that we like to use are the grozing pliers. So this has kind of a jaw-like look to them, and it's got a straight edge on the top and it's got a curved edge on the bottom. And this is for when we have smaller pieces that we want to get rid of. I pull the line. I'm going to take it from this edge and pull up and out. And that got me this little tiny piece off, which would have taken me a lot more time to grind down. It's enough of a width for me to be comfortable cutting and grozing, but not enough for me to feel comfortable pulling with my fingers. Okay, so I have all of my border pieces cut. I'm going to have to do a little bit of grinding because I did overcut a couple of pieces, but it's better to overcut and have to grind than to undercut and have to cut another piece. So I'm happy with the pattern as it stands. It's nice and bright and bold, and I'm a sucker for geometric repetition, so this feels good to me. I'm going to cut my big piece. I saved that for last because I want to make sure that I have a nice headspace for cutting a large piece. So I have to measure a couple of times because I don't want to under measure and undercut. Okay, I have all of my pieces cut. I have my middle piece that came out beautifully. I think I might have to do a little bit of grinding in some of these corners. I have one piece that might be a little bit small, but I think that we'll be able to make adjustments within the lead, and I think that would give nicely. And the next step for us is going to be building our frame. And we're going to do that next time. Thank you for joining me. This is Create with Michelle. And again, I'm here at the Glass Source Stained Glass Art Studio in Seymour, Connecticut with Michael Skardik, the owner and artist. See you next time.